Welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this, even though you missed the live party, guys. That is the best part, so make sure you're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it, so hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and you will never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. If you'd like to support the channel, head on over to TheIndianJesus.com for your very own official merch, including the the desk mat. Your entire desk can have my face. Only at TheIndianJesus.com. Guys, we do also have a Discord server that is absolutely free to join. It's like a giant group chat 24/7. We're in there hanging out, having a great time. It's a great place to meet new people and have interesting conversations. And like I said, it is absolutely free to join. However, if you will join this channel here on YouTube as a member, you can scroll right below the video, hit that join button. There's a few different tiers here, but it starts at just $2.99 a month, gets you members only live streams here on YouTube, all that other good stuff. But it also opens up the full Discord server, guys. That's right. Not only is there the free chat channel, but we got our Morty boy in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Not only is the Discord have a free chat channel, there's a bunch of other chat channels for members only, including the voice channel, where as soon as we are done here, we're headed over to there. We don't have to worry about any YouTube censors or anything like that. You and not stuck behind your keyboard. You're actually on screen with me and everybody else. It is a good time. Definitely come and join us. All right, all right. Oh my goodness, starting off hot. Coming in hot. We got Dixon Sider with a $2. Said, all glory to the Overlord. And this, of course, is the Overlord. Every donation comes with a treat for Morty. And we've got a special Swole Stream goal today. If you take a look at the top of the chat, if we get 9 more of these, then Morty gets his own peanut butter bucket. He will love it. You will love seeing it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, sir. And starting off hot as the sponsor of the stream. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We also got our boy King Nirvana. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Very good to see you guys. Very good to see you. So stuff in politics is starting to pick up again. Stuff is starting to pick up, and Trump's pick for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth had his confirmation hearing in front of the Senate yesterday. And so this is a big one because Trump is the no new wars president, and making sure that we have somebody who is in charge of the DOD who's going to do what's good and not do what's bad is very, very important. So the hearing was 4 hours long. Obviously, we're not going to sit through a 4-hour hearing, but I've got some highlights, and then we also have stuff from Charlie Kirk going through some stuff, bringing some receipts showing that I think this is the guy. So let's do it. As always, guys, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
And to all the troops and veterans watching and here in the room, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, soldiers, pilots, sailors, Marines, Gold Stars, and more, too many friends to name. Officers, enlisted, black and white, young and old, men and women, all Americans, all warriors. This hearing is for you. Thank you for figuratively and literally having my back.
This is his opening statement. Couldn't even get through it.
Not only that, you are a Christian Zionist.
You're a Satanist and a Christian nationalist. That's how it's starting. Thank you again, Dixon, for sponsoring the stream.
I want to thank the authorities for their swift reaction to that outburst, and state that similar interruptions will be treated in like manner. Mr. Hegseth, you may continue.
Well, as I'll say again, thank you for figuratively and literally having my back. I pledge to do the same.
That seemed like he was waiting for a laugh break. I don't know about anybody else. He's like, oh, I'm going to kill with this
having
one.
My back.
No?
I pledge to do the same for all of you. It's an honor to come before this committee today as President Donald Trump's nominee for the office of Secretary of Defense. 2 months ago, 77 million Americans gave President Trump a powerful mandate for change, to put America first, at home and abroad. I want to thank President Trump for his faith in me and his selfless leadership for our republic. The troops have no better commander-in-chief than Donald Trump. As I've said to many of you in private meetings, when President Trump chose me for this position, the primary charge he gave me was to bring the warrior culture back to the Department of Defense.
Wait. You're saying he didn't tell you to put rainbow bullets on a helmet and pass that out as a representation of the military?
Like me, wants a Pentagon laser focused on lethality, meritocracy, warfighting, accountability, and readiness.
He just can't help himself. What are those people like? What do you think you're gonna do? All that does is give him the opportunity to look good sitting there and not reacting. Slick back hair.
You may continue, sir.
Returning the Pentagon back to warfighting, that's it. That's my job.
Mr. Hegseth, suspend your remarks. Let me just say this. The Capitol Police are going to remove immediately.
Oh, come on, dude. Just
committee. You may proceed.
even government can't tell you to shut the fuck up without taking 15 times as long.
Bring back warfighting, if confirmed. I'm going to work with President Trump and this committee to, one, restore the warrior ethos to the Pentagon and throughout our fighting force. In doing so, we will reestablish trust in our military, addressing the recruiting crisis, the retention crisis, and readiness crisis in our ranks.
As they're going through that, though, the warriorness, the warrior spirit, all that stuff, I like that and I appreciate that. But that doesn't mean going and doing regime change wars, right?
Members of the security force will remove members. Let's get into this allegation about sexual assault, inappropriate workplace behavior, alcohol abuse, and financial.
All right, so we're going to take a quick detour. Charlie Kirk's got some stuff to talk about. King said, any chance some of those people are paid to act up? I mean, anything's possible, right? But probably not. I don't think that it really does anything. I think you're going to find people who are more than willing to cause a ruckus and feel that their voice is so important that it just needs to be heard right in the middle of the things. I mean, maybe, but crazy people are not in short supply. So this is a different. We're jumping around a bit. This is a different part of the opening of what he's saying, and then Charlie Kirk just kind of jumps in and gives us a lot of good context. And there's one thing we'll probably revisit again later, but I definitely want Charlie's commentary there. Yeah, they're making a difference. What would we do without them?
Financial.
On getting anything that doesn't contribute to meritocracy.
Pete Hegseth is just crushing it right now. And Pete Hegseth, so this is the way it works, is this is the Senate Armed Services Committee chaired by Senator Roger Wicker, who's wearing a foreign flag for whatever reason. Someone can explain that to me. So the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee has a foreign flag that he's wearing, that being Ukraine. Then he also has...
I thought we were done with that.
...a co-chair from Rhode Island. I don't remember this guy's name. What was his name again? Senator... I don't want to misspeak. So basically, they co-chair the committee. Senator Reid. And so Senator Wicker controls the gavel. He begins. So it goes back and forth with equal time for Republicans and Democrats. When the Republicans ask questions, it's softballs, as it should be.
And that's what he's talking over now. It's just like, well, I want to come and make sure this country is safe and it's really when the Democrats try to, to hammer him and throw all the bullshit they can and grandstanding and all of that. Shout out to TV Viewerski. Welcome to the Mighty the other foreign flag. Would Israel have been better or worse? Would Israel have been better or worse? He's the head of the, I forget exactly what it's called, but the Senate for Armed Forces. And he's wearing a flag that's not American. Would it be better or worse if it was Israel? But yeah, so he's talking over, getting him, the Republicans will give him a question where he can vamp and just be like, I'm going to be the best at everything and I can do this and I can do that. And then the Democrats will try to do the opposite.
Got to give the guy some time to regather, to take a deep breath, to be able to get his footing. And then the Democrats come all in and forcefully. So we are going to be hosting this show live. We're going to be going straight to the breaks here on Real America's Voice. I have the thumbs up from Mr. Sig that we're just going to go right through. But we're going to add.
Apparently, Real America's Voice is an actual channel on television. I didn't know that people our age did that stuff, but hey, here you go.
Some color commentary throughout when Republicans are asking questions. And then when Democrats ask questions, we're going to go in and let that kind of speak for itself. But let's kind of frame this up. One of the distinctions of how our government is supposed to be constituted is a civilian-led military. Mm-hmm. The Joint Chiefs of Staff, it's its own problem. Whether or not the Joint Chiefs even exist or not is a separate issue. But having a frontline fighter to lead the Department of Defense,
which obviously Pete Hegseth is an
extraordinary development. Most people that have led the Department of Defense, from Lloyd Austin to Mark Milley, they have not faced fire themselves. They have not lost friends on the front lines of battle. Pete Hegseth will bring that warrior ethos back into the Department of Defense.
And again, that's what they were saying in the opening that Trump asked for. And I like that. But again, a warrior doesn't just mean, like there's warriors like Genghis Khan and there's warriors like, I did not think about where that sentence was going, but you know what I mean? No more war.
Pete Hegseth understands the threat.
And I mean, shout out to Trump. What, 6 days, 7 days, or no, is this 9 days after the January 6th and Israel, the war's already over. Already over. I mean, not over, but ceasefire, releasing the hostages, all that stuff. That is what we are headed into.
To the Department of Defense. Pete Hegseth.
Exactly, TV. Thank you. Real warriors do not want war. Well said. Well said.
Understands the threat of DEI, critical race theory, and the American left. He understands that our threat is not just international, it is also domestic. Pete Hegseth will purge the United States military of DEI, of the lowering of standards. He will put forward an equilibrium that if women want to serve in the military, they must have the same physical fitness standards as men.
The fact that that is not already the way it is astronomically insane to me.
Pete Hegseth has been morally clear on who our enemies are. By the way, Pete Hegseth had a great answer on Hamas, on Israel. He said that it's time for us to get out of Ukraine, and you can see how Pete is under fire.
I bet Mr. Ukraine pin wearing didn't like that very much.
He has been in combat, so this is nothing to him. And Pete is not connected to the military-industrial complex like Mark Milley, like Mad Dog Mattis, like all of these failures at DOD. Pete Hegseth actually fought in the front lines, and it's time that we have a warrior to lead other warriors, someone that has ascended, who, with distinction and honor, Pete Hegseth served this nation. Mark Milley, if you get a picture of Mark Milley, he has all these medals. What did he ever do to get all those medals?
Sucking some corporate D.
This regalia. What war did Mark Milley win to get all of that regalia? One of the greatest threats to our own country is how the cancer, the tumor of wokeism has been enveloping the United States military. It makes us less ready to win wars. Our military preparedness has been eroded and dulled. The morale of our military is at all-time lows. We have a recruiting crisis right now in the United States military. We were once the finest fighting force on the planet, and now that is being put in jeopardy.
So that's kind of the setup. I think we get to exactly what I was looking for. Oh, we'll keep this going. But yeah, a great setup from Charlie Kirk is, I mean, how many of us really understand the broader context around individual events like this? Shout out to Charlie Kirk.
Pete Hegseth will bring back warrior culture. Show 54 right there. This is Mark Milley. What on earth did he ever do to get that many medals? What war did he win? What conquest did he author? What battle did he participate in to get that many medals? No, simply by existing. Must take an hour to put all those on. Contrast that with Pete Hegseth, the man right now who is calm on fire. Oh, we got to listen to this. Go right now. We got to go.
All right. So again, we may come back to this Elizabeth Warren thing, but it's good enough to watch twice because he is bringing receipts.
Elizabeth Warren, we got to listen to this. Go to Elizabeth Warren.
Disqualifies you from serving in this role. Now, I've been trying to get answers from you for quite some time on this. You haven't wanted to meet or to answer any of my questions. So we'll just have.
I wouldn't either.
To do it here and dive in. I want to pick up on some of the questions asked by Senators Sheen and Gillibrand and Hirono. And I just want to make sure we have a list of some of the facts that I think are undisputed. I'm not going to talk about anonymous sources. I'm just going to quote you directly. We've got the video. We've got it in print. So going back to January 2013, you told a Fox News interviewer that women in the military simply couldn't measure up to men in the military, saying that allowing women to serve in combat roles would force the military to lower the bar.
Which it did.
You picked up on that same thing.
And in case you're watching this in the future, yes, it is 2025, and she is quoting 2013. War is in her last name. She loves war. And it's so funny because I remember in 2016 when I was a never Trumper and I thought that I knew anything. And there was one point where Elizabeth Warren herself stood up and said something that I really liked, and I shared it on Facebook at the time. And somebody was like, somebody just commented, "You realize that she's just like grandstanding? Like this isn't a good moment." And even being told that without even really knowing what grandstanding actually meant, I was willing to defend her and be like, well, all politicians grandstand, so it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Grandstanding. Check it out. Yeah, right? Let them fight and find out. I'm with it.
Would force the military to lower.
More like let them fuck around and find out.
Or the bar. You picked up on that same theme in 2015, making remarks on Fox News, referring to women in combat as, quote, it would erode standards. June 2020.
And again, it did.
24, you said on Ben Shapiro's podcast, quote, women shouldn't be in combat at all.
True.
And then, of course, we've talked about it in 2024. You published a book, and you say on page 26 of your book, we need moms, but not in the military, especially in combat units. Page 48 of your book, you claim that women should not be in combat roles, because men are distracted by women. And then 10 weeks ago, you appeared on the Sean Ryan show and said, I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles.
I wonder what he thinks about women in combat roles. Guys, could you do me a huge favor really quick and just tap that like button? It is free and it helps out so very, very much. Thank you.
Now, I presume you recall making all these statements?
Senator, I'm not familiar with the article you're pointing to in 2013, but it underscores my argument completely because in that 2013 argument, I was talking about standards. Standards are what it's always been about, Senator.
It didn't go the way you thought it would.
Same fight.
Always been about Senate.
Don't answer the questions I just asked you to answer.
Quoted you directly. We've got the video. We're happy to show it. But I want to be clear.
No, we believe it. We believe it. We believe it. He's saying, yes, I said those things, and I've been consistent the whole time.
Here. For 12 years, you were quite open about your views, and your views were consistently the same. Women are inferior soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and guardians.
She is such a liar. Pocahontas is on one right now. The physical fitness standards are so much lower for women in the military. We're going to go through it. We have the receipts. She is lying to the American people. We're going to go through the break here in Real America's Voice. Stay right there.
This is what had me realize, like, oh, wait, this is like on TV.
Same.
Keep going with Pocahontas.
Last public comment saying that women absolutely should not be in combat. You declared that, quote, some of our greatest warriors are women, and you support having them serve in combat. Now, that is a very, very big about face.
He specifically said in combat?
That is
because it's very different to say, I appreciate the women who are in the military and doing all of this stuff. But if he specifically said in combat, then okay, that's a little bit of a flip-flop. But not by the worst thing by far. TV said, I've seen over many years photos of combat. I recently saw footage of a trench strewn with women's bodies. I've never been so disturbed. Something very unnatural about it. Yeah, I mean, our brains aren't wired to necessarily understand that magnitude of death at all. But then when we have the social conditioning, for better or worse, that women are the softer sex, to see that, yeah, I would imagine how disturbing it would be. And like, that's not to say, oh, it should have been men, but kind of is. And that's not something against women. That's holding women up and saying you shouldn't have to be there. King Von said, this guy is a misogynist. Always sexism and identity bullshit. You mean her or him? Wait, what? Are you? Is it sarcasm? What are we talking about here? Hey, we got Jeff Pearson in the building. Welcome to the party. So Pocahontas is such a tool. She's tooling it up right meow. Welcome.
And you support having them serve in combat. Now, that is a very, very big about face in a very, very short period of time. So help me understand, Mr. Hegseth, what extraordinary event happened in that 32-day period that made you change the core values you had expressed for the preceding 12 years?
Like, even drawing out the question, what changed? Just say what changed. These women should not be there. It is not fair at all. It's not fair to the women. It's not fair to the men. And God damn it, it's not fair to the country. And it's very interesting to me that this isn't thrown back at them and be like, oh, so you're saying you want women to die on the front lines. I want to protect our women. That's the way that you should be discussing this. Because even if that is not the most, even if that's not the top reason is because men are typically better at this. That's it. But it's not a lie that we want to keep women safe and off the front lines.
Years.
Senator, again, I very much appreciate you bringing up my comments from 2013, because for me, this issue has always been about standards. And unfortunately, because of some of the people that have been in political power for the last 4 years, priorities other than
Why are you asking these questions if you don't want the answer?
standards, lethality, and
Grandstanding, virtue signaling.
Mr.
meritocracy
Hegseth,
have
I'm
driven
quoting
decision-making.
I'm quoting you from the podcast. Women shouldn't be in combat at all. Where is reference to standards that they should be there if they can carry, if they can run?
So you're telling me that if we go look up the Sean Ryan show where he said women should not be in combat at all, or I'm just straight up, whatever, that there's no other context to that? They were just talking about the weather. And then he was like, wait, I just got to say something, guys. Women should not be there. Virtue signaling. And then, of course, he tries to answer and put it in the context. Stop talking. TV said, I was, what? I was in it was a Ukraine all-woman platoon. Just terrible. Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's a political position that is not tied to any practical application of what that position would do. That's it. King said she's so performative, but not good at it. Give us a show, Pocahontas. Well, like I said, back in the day, I bought it. I bought it back in the day, but I was pretty dumb then.
I don't see that at all, Mr. Hegseth. What I see is there's a 32-day period in which you suddenly have another description about your views of women in the military.
Okay, great. And so, yes, I am also interested. If he had a flip-flop, if he had a change of mind, let's hear it. But you're not letting him answer the question.
And I just want to know.
I don't think you do.
Changed in the 32 days that the song you sang is not the song you come in here today to sing.
Shout out to Dietrich. Welcome to the party. So she's not just banging at the table to get him stop talking. She's channeling her 1,240th Cherokee. Dilly. Dietrich's always coming in hot. Welcome, sir.
The song you sang is not the song you come in here today to sing.
Senator,
yes. So her question, because again, they can't just ask a question. They have to draw it out. She's saying, look, I have a bunch of these quotes that as of 32 days ago that you said you don't want women in combat positions. Then she is saying you, after that point, said that you're okay with women in combat positions. And so my question to her is, did he specify combat positions when he said yay women? Or was he just talking about yay women in the military in general? Because if that's the case, then there's no hypocrisy there. Women in the military are great, just not in combat roles. But yes, he is only talking about combat positions.
You sang is not the song you come in here today to sing.
Senator, the concerns I have and the concerns that many have had, especially in ground combat units, is that in pursuit of certain percentages or quotas, standards have been changed. And that makes the combat more difficult.
Let me make a suggestion about what happened in
Nope, not allowed to answer.
that 32 days. You got a nomination from President Trump. Now, I've heard of deathbed conversions, but this is the first time I've heard of a nomination conversion. And I hope you understand.
You know, she was up all night writing that line. Ooh, I've heard of a deathbed conversion, but a nomination conversion.
That many women serving in the military right now might think that if you can convert so rapidly your long-held and aggressively pursued views.
Maybe there's a good reason. Maybe you're actually in the right. Maybe he was wrong before, and maybe he talked to somebody like you and changed his mind. You didn't let him answer, so you don't know.
In just 32 days, that 32 days after you get confirmed, maybe you'll just reverse those views and go back to the old guy who said straight up, women do not belong in combat. Now, Mr. Hegseth, you have written.
So no, you did not want an answer. You just wanted to say that. Okay, just so we're making sure.
That after they retire, generals should be banned from working for the defense industry for 10 years. You and I agree on the corrosive effects of the revolving door between the Pentagon and defense contractors. It's something I would have liked to talk with you about if you'd come and been willing to visit with me.
Why don't you want to hang out with me?
But the question I have for you on this is, will you put your money where your mouth is and agree that when you leave this job, you will not work for the defense industry for 10 years?
Senator, it's not even a question I've thought about because it's not
about it
one
right
that,
now.
It's not one, my motivation for this job.
I understand that. I just need a yes or no here.
Next.
Time is short.
So time is short, and I want to ask you all these questions about a thing that I don't actually care about the answer when I specifically told you I care about the answer. But it's your hearing and your answer. We don't have a lot of time for this. This is what we're here for. Jeff said, maybe I am thinking of a different interview, but as I recall, part of the context was that we are not really prepared to see women's bodies destroyed on the battlefield. This is exactly what TV Viersky said just before you got here. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I never necessarily put it in that context in my own mind, but it's unnatural.
Just need a yes or no.
I would consult with the president about what the policy should be.
In other words, you're quite sure.
He didn't even get the first word out before she started talking. Now, this seems like a misstep because when nobody is going to remember or care what you answered to that question. Even on a slimy politician level. Say, yes, I will not do that. Then in 4 years or whatever, then you just go and take a job. Nobody's going to fucking remember who you are. So that was a misstep. Yes, I believe that. My principles are consistent. I don't know why you wouldn't do that. But point being, he didn't even get a chance to answer
about what the policy should be.
In other words, you're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. You're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
You'll be the one, let us just be clear, in charge of the generals. So you're saying sauce for the goose, but certainly not sauce for the gander?
I would want to see what the policy of the president is.
I'll bet you would.
See, that's what I'm saying. That makes it seem like, you know what, Jesse would probably go back to Fox for the money. Maybe. It was funny. But politically and optically, just say yes. Just say yes. Am I condoning or encouraging people to lie? No. But let's what are we doing here? It's a game. This is political theater.
Thank you, Senator Warren. Senator Tuberville.
So Charlie's I think Charlie comes in here with some of the receipts, and then we'll head back and see some other highlights.
Thank you, Mr.
.com coach Tommy Tuberville, senator from Alabama, is asking questions right now, so we can kind of take a step back and frame what's happening right here. You have a frontline fighter that is being grilled by people that have never served before. And I have nothing against people not serving before. I mean, obviously, I have not served, so everyone is allowed to have opinions about these things. But at some point, we must realize the military is slipping at such a dramatic pace.
Ooh, that's smart. You'll have security clearance, meaning a raise at Fox. And I mean, depending on like where he wants to go, what he wants to do, there's not necessarily a reason why you would want to make all like the most, like you could prefer to do something else. And which is just another reason why I think he should have just said yes.
That we have lost our fighting edge. And the fighters themselves coming back into the military is what's missing. Not more academics. We need less academics in the military and more fighters in the military that know what it's like to send their best friends home in body bags. We need less people that spent their lives in air conditioning and attend rubber chicken dinners for a living. By the way, I'm one of those people. I get it. I'm not here trying to run the DOD. I'm not here trying to run the Pentagon.
That's a shit. Me too.
Pete Hegseth has done the tough work, served the country with courage and distinction and valor. Now, a big debate around Pete Hegseth's nomination is women in combat. Now, we've been very clear on this program that we don't believe that women should be in frontline combat roles. It's not to say that women can't serve in other roles and other capacities, and it doesn't diminish the courage or the valor that many women have showed. But
that's the thing they don't understand. They don't understand that you could say, I don't want women in combat roles. And also, it's not because we think women are bad. They just can't put that together.
This is why. It's because of standards. And Pete Hegseth was saying this in his confirmation, but Pocahontas, who needed a peace pipe or something, by the way, she had to calm down. It's out of control. Was interrupting him too much. Mm-hmm. Let's put this up on screen. This is 44, cut 44. This is the ACFT grading scales. Now, when we are trying to go up against the Chinese Communist Party, when we are trying to go up potentially against Iran, God forbid, or some other enemy, wouldn't it be necessary that every single person that we are sending to the front lines has the same capacity? Women have different thresholds, and that's not okay. Women are...
So you can see the MDL, whatever that is, for lifting. The females have to get only 60, whereas the men have to get 100. Or no. Okay, so it's a point system. So if you're, I'll let him explain.
If they're going to be in frontline combat roles, should have the same thresholds as men. You should not accommodate whether or not you can carry a fellow service member after they get shot, or whether they pass out, or they are wounded. The enemy doesn't care if you are a male or female.
Nope.
Mortar shells, bullets, and the enemy come at you just the same. Here is the ACFT grading scales. You look at it, put back on screen, a female has to run a 1529 mile. That's what it looks like. I think I'm reading that correctly. At the lowest threshold, at the highest threshold. A male has to run a 1322, just 2 miles, and 13 minutes.
All right. I'm trying to...
minutes and 22 seconds. A 20-year-old woman has to only be able to deadlift 210 pounds. But a 20-year-old man has to be able to deadlift 340 pounds. Said differently, a woman does not even need to be able to pick up or carry a fellow man with gear on. At the very
a man without gear on. I mean, okay, I'm under 120 pounds, but most of you are not.
Base minimum standard. So they should have to be as strong in order for a woman to serve in the military. If a woman can deadlift 340 pounds, welcome in.
Yep.
If a woman can do the push-up standards and can do the plank standards, which actually the plank standards are equal, or the mile standards. So why?
I mean, my cardio is not good, but I'm not trying to be in the military. So we're allowed to be lazy and hit the peace pipe.
Are we lowering the standards of the finest fighting force ever in the pursuit of diversity? And diversity is not our strength. Equity is not our strength. Inclusion is not our strength. Unity,
strength is our strength.
To kill the enemy is our strength. There should be one standard, full stop. This is not controversial. 99% of the country agrees. And for this, by the way, women in frontline combat roles, has that made our military better or not as good? What war have we won since we've allowed women in frontline military roles? No, seriously.
Shout out to Balthazar. Welcome to the party. So did squaws fight on the front lines? I don't know what that is. So maybe you can tell me. Either way, welcome to the party. Guys, if I could ask you a huge favor, can we just get 3 more likes? 3 more likes. Thank you so very much.
So what war have we won? We got embarrassed in Iraq. We got embarrassed in Afghanistan. We have lost our edge. And Pete Hegseth embodies the type of masculinity that we need back into the United States military.
What's the squaw? What does that mean?
We're going to keep going through the breaks as Tuberville asks Pete Hegseth questions. Stay right there.
All right, so they're going to go through some more stuff. We're going to go through some highlights. Dietrich said, why is it that when Republicans question liberals, it's did you say this, explain why, and they can't. Questioning us, it's like a Mad Lib page about us where they blow their fucking lids if we don't give them the negative answers they want. That's the game. That's the game. The standard is Republican bad, Democrat good. So when you understand that's where that's the starting point, that Republican evil is up here and Democrat evil is down here, then you can understand how they are focusing on the wrong things, asking questions that are not balanced. Now, to be fair, it is their job to try to discredit him here. So, I mean, that's what they're here for. But it's not done with honor, in my personal opinion. Balazar said, personally, I believe that if you are the best person to do the job, you get the job. Nothing else matters. Bingo. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is that's what America was always built on. And then I don't know what happened. Squaw's a female Native American. Okay, there we go. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna go back over let him finish this, and they're getting into his sexual assault accusations.
Let's get into this allegation about sexual assault, inappropriate workplace behavior, alcohol abuse, and financial mismanagement during your time as a nonprofit executive. I should note that the majority of these have come from anonymous sources in liberal media publications. But I want to give you an opportunity to respond to these allegations, sir.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for that opportunity. You are correct. We undertook this responsibility with an obligation to the troops to do right by them for our warfighters. And what became very evident to us from the beginning, there was a coordinated smear campaign orchestrated in the media against us. That was clear from moment one. And what we knew is that it wasn't about me. Most of it was about President Donald Trump, who's had to endure the very same thing for much longer amounts of time. And he endured it in incredibly strong ways. So we, in some ways, knew it was coming. We didn't understand the depth of the dishonesty that would come with it. So from story after story in the media, left-wing media, we saw anonymous source after anonymous source based on second or third hand accounts.
A source close to someone close to the source said.
And time again, stories would come out and people would reach out to me and say, you know, I've spoken to this reporter about who you really are, and I was willing to go on the record. But they didn't print my quote. They didn't print any of my quotes. Or I've worked with you for 10 years, or I was your accountant, or I was your chief operating officer, or I was your board member.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of reasons why I wouldn't want to serve, but trusting the government is numero. No. My inability to lift things and run far is probably number one. But number two is distrust in the government. Absolutely. Dietrich said, could I interest you in a little CRT and DEI courses? They would clear that right up. Bottoming required, not included in package price.
Or I was with you on 100 different tour stops for Concerned Veterans for America. No one called me. No one asked about your conduct on the record or off the record. Instead, a small handful of anonymous sources were allowed to drive a smear campaign, an agenda about me, because our left-wing media in America today, sadly, doesn't care about the truth. Haram! All they were out to do, Mr. Chairman, was to destroy me. And why do they want to destroy me? Because I'm a change agent and a threat to them, because Donald Trump was willing to choose me, to empower me, to bring the Defense Department back to what it really should be.
A threat to our democracy.
Which is warfighting.
But the other factor, too, is you've already disparaged in writing the Geneva Convention,
So I don't know if you guys could tell, but when they do the screen goes white, that's a cut. So they go
To bring
here.
the Defense Department back to what it really should be, which is warfighting.
So like that. So that.
But the other factor too is you've already disparaged in writing the Geneva Convention, the rules of law, all of these things. How will you be able to effectively lead?
Shout out to Leslie. Welcome to the party. So yeah, all the change agents are on Fox. Good one. But hey, I mean, Tucker was on Fox, right? Whether you like him or hate him, definitely a change agent. Welcome to the party. Balthazar said they are doing the classic fighting the last war. AI, drones, land, sea, air. Who is still in the front lines? I mean, that is a good point. Well, we do still have boots on the ground in different situations. I don't know specifically what they are, but the idea that infantry is not a thing anymore is not the case.
A military in which one of the principal elements is discipline, respect for lawful authority. You have made statements to your platoon after being briefed by a JAG officer. Well, by the way, would you explain what a JAG-off is?
I don't think I need to, sir,
Why not?
because the men and women watching understand.
Put a one in the chat if you do not know what a jag-off, or if you're not from Philly, a jack-off is.
Well, perhaps some of my colleagues don't understand.
It would be a JAG officer who puts his or her own priorities in front of the warfighters. Their promotions, their medals in front of having the backs of those who are making the tough calls on the front lines.
Thank you, Senator Reed.
Interesting.
Thank you, Senator
Thank you
Reed.
very much.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously make a strong point that it's not the same as World War I, where it's trench warfare. But to the people who are, to the much smaller percentage of the military that are still doing that, it matters to them. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Dietrich said, when old Strokey McGreen guy talks, I feel like I'm watching a movie that's English dubbed. Oh, this guy, right? If you had to ask me, what does a Ukrainian look like? And I'd never seen one, I would say that. I don't. King said, who was this guy to y'all before? I'm an ignorant jagoff. I'm with you. I had no idea who he was at all. Apparently he is, again, a combat veteran. He was on Fox and Friends a bunch. And I guess what's his face? Trump just liked him. So yeah, I don't know much about him either. Let's see. So most of you are saying in our running poll, should Hegseth be confirmed? 83% of you said yes. So let's roll with another picture poll and see how familiar you guys have been. Dietrich said he looks like the goblin in charge of Gringotts Wizarding Bank. He looks like I can't top that. Come on, man. I'm supposed to be the funny one. Dietrich's on fire. TV, he said Zelensky is shorter than Tom Cruise. Hey. There will be no disparaging of the short kings. All right? You can disparage a short king, but not because he's short. All right.
Calls on the front lines.
Thank you, Senator Reed.
Interesting.
Thank you, Senator
Thank you
Reed.
very much.
I thought it would be really helpful to better understand your views on women in the military, because you've made a number of surprising statements about women serving in the military. As recently as November the 7th of 2024 on the Sean Ryan show, you said, and I quote, "I'm straight up saying that we should not have women in combat roles. It hasn't made us more effective." The quote went on a little longer, but that was the gist of it. That was before you were nominated to be Secretary of Defense. Mr. Hegseth, do you know what percentage of our military is comprised of women?
18%.
I believe it's 18 to 20%, Senator.
No, I'm just kidding. I remember that from before. So we do have a new poll. Have you heard of Pete Hegseth before this?
It's almost 18%. And in fact, DOD's 2023 demographic report indicated that there are more women serving now and there are fewer separations. So they make up a critical part of our military. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, ma'am. Women in our military, as I have said publicly, have and continue to make amazing contributions across all aspects of our battlefield.
Just not combat roles.
Well, you also write in your book, The War on Warriors, with the chapter, The Deadly Obsession with Women Warriors, that, quote, not only are women comparatively less effective than men in combat roles, but they are more likely to be objectified by the enemy and their own nation in the moral realms of war. Mr. Hegseth, should we take it to believe that you believe that the two women on this committee who have served honorably and with distinction made our military less effective and less capable?
Nah, you're not hot enough. Oh!
I'm incredibly grateful for the two women who served our military in uniform, and including in the Central Intelligence Agency, contributions on the battlefield.
There we go.
Indispensable.
Well, thank you so much for the likes. They really, really do help. Thank you so much.
Contribution. Senator, I would like to clarify, when I'm talking about that issue, it's not about the capabilities of men and women, it's about standards. And this committee has talked a lot about standards. Standards that we, unfortunately, over time, have seen eroded in certain duty positions, certain schools, certain places.
And this is exactly what he would have said to Elizabeth Warren had she given him the opportunity. She's like, I just want to know. I just want to know. Do you know? No, you don't.
Which affects readiness, which is what I care about the most. Readiness
I
on the
appreciate
battlefield.
that.
And so to my comments.
However,
And again, it's like, if I don't know where you thought that cutting people off while they're in the middle of a sentence makes it look bad on them. Who told you that? Who told you that? If you're interrupting him, I'm assuming that what he's saying is not only true, but is damaging to the establishment in some way. That's just my off rip. That's the vibe I get. Usually they are trying to cut them off because they don't want them to say the thing. But we all have our own conversations. What do you think we are?
Which is what I care about the most. Readiness
I
on the
appreciate
battlefield.
that.
And so to my comments,
however,
time and time again, to standards.
Your statements publicly have not been to that effect.
They have, though.
After your nomination, you did state to a group of reporters that you, quote, support all women serving in our military today who do a fantastic job across the globe, including combat.
Okay, so if she's quoting, then he did say including combat. That still, and again, I'm not trying to run cover. I'm looking at the video in front of me, and I'm giving my my play-by-play take. And so what I think you could say there, and why I don't understand why Pete is not saying this. Yes, the fact is, I don't think we should be putting women in combat roles. But there are women in combat roles. And just because we want to protect those women doesn't mean they're not doing a good job. It's not hard, guys. Just do that. Just do that. Teacher said I would respect him slightly more if he didn't come in with his hair grease locked as an ode to a block of uncooked ramen. Oh, my goodness. We got a dilly. Dietrich is on fire. Yeah, that's very I was gonna say 90s, but that's like 60s level grease. I don't know. I mean, don't look bad, but it is definitely draws the eye.
Today, who do a fantastic job across the globe, including combat. So what I'm confused about, Mr. Hegseth, is which is it? Why should women in our military, if you were the Secretary of Defense, believe that they would have a fair shot and an equal opportunity to rise through the ranks? If on the one hand, you say that women are not competent, they make our military less effective.
That's not what he said.
And on the other hand, you say, oh no, now that I've been nominated to be the Secretary of Defense, I've changed my view on women in the military. What do you have to say to the almost 400,000 women who are serving today about your position on whether they should be capable to rise through the highest ranks of our military?
So this is a genuine question. Is being in a combat role the highest capability of rising through the ranks, or not capability, the high position through the ranks is somebody who is on the front lines in combat roles? My understanding would be like, generals who sit in these air-conditioned offices like Mark Milley would be a higher rank. Usually the foot soldiers that are lower rank. So again, the question can very easily be answered by two true things. One, the women who are already on the front lines are doing a great job. Two, we shouldn't put any more women on the front lines because women don't belong on the front lines because of the standards that were dropped to allow them there in the first place. why is it so difficult? Balthasar said, yes, for now, but that is not the future, and focusing on frontline men is a waste of time. Why do you say that? Why do you say that? Not disagreeing. I'm just asking.
Senator, I would say I would be honored to have the opportunity to serve alongside you, shoulder to shoulder, men and women, black, white, all backgrounds.
Would you? Come on, now you're just kissing ass, bro.
With a shared purpose. Our differences are not what define us. Our unity and our shared purpose is what define us. And you will be treated fairly and with dignity, honor, and respect, just like every man and woman in uniform, just like the men and women that I've worked with in my veterans organizations, to include when I was a headquarters company commander in the Minnesota National Guard.
Well, I appreciate your 11th hour conversion.
And again, if you just let him finish, then we, as the people, could determine whether or not we accept what he says, like what he says, so on and so forth. But you decide, no, I don't want the people to hear this.
But Mr. Chairman, for the record, I would like to submit Chapter 5, The Deadly Obsession with Women Warriors, for the record. Mr. Hegseth.
But without objection, it will be submitted.
I believe that's a chapter from his book.
Are you familiar with the Women, Peace, and Security agenda at the Department of Defense?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
This is a law that was signed during President-elect Trump's first term. It was legislation that I sponsored with Republican Senator Capito of West Virginia. It was co-sponsored by Marco Rubio, the nominee to be the President-elect's Secretary of State. It was led in the House of Representatives by Kristi Noem, the President-elect's nominee to be the Secretary of Homeland Security.
Government talk. Government talk. Just ask the goddamn question.
It mandates that women be included in all aspects of our national security, including conflict resolution and peace negotiations.
If I'm a woman watching this, like, I'd be like, hey, yo, why are you trying to get me killed? Why are you trying to get me killed? If I'm a woman watching this, that is the only thing I would be thinking.
And at the Department of
He wants to keep me safe at home. She wants to send me to a foreign country.
Defense, it has been the law for 8 years under both the Trump and Biden administrations. The DOD has incorporated women throughout its decision-making as a result. Every single combatant commander across 2 administrations has told this committee that this law and its implementation at the Department of Defense provides them a strategic advantage operationally. Based on your comments, it appears that the example that you would like to set, not only for women in this country, but for women across the globe, 50% of the world's population, as the prospective nominee to lead the most combat-credible military in the entire world, is that women should not have an equal opportunity in our military. So will you commit to preserving the Women, Peace, and Security law at DOD and including in your budget
The hell was that?
the requisite funding to continue to restore and resource these programs throughout the DOD?
Senator, I will commit to reviewing that program and ensuring it aligns with America First national security priorities, meritocracy, lethality, and readiness. And if it advances American interests, it's something we would advance. If it doesn't, it's something we would look at.
There you go. It's that simple. We're here to fix and help the country. If that's a thing that helps and fixes the country, good. If it's not, then it's not.
Former President Trump signed the law. I hope that he agrees
Excuse me, ma'am. I believe you mean President-elect.
with you.
Mr. Hegseth, let's continue on this line of questioning about what's sometimes referred to as women in combat. I think that phrase is something of a misnomer. Many members of this committee have served in combat in the last 25 years, to include women and men. I'm sure all those men served with women.
And Jeff, that's exactly where my mind was going. Great men think alike. Said if they want women in combat in the military so bad, make them eligible for the draft. That's another thing that, again, if I were Pete, I would feel like I want to highlight that. That, okay, so you're saying that women should be able to go to die on the front line, but but you don't think they're what, eligible? You don't think they should be eligible for the draft because? And then again, get a Democratic senator to say that, yes, I want women to fight in wars, even if they don't choose to. See how that works out.
25 years, to include women and men. I'm sure all those men served with women, whether they were military police officers or they were pilots or whether they were intelligence analysts or medics or what have you. You served. I assume you served with women who were on the front lines as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And were those women anything other than skilled, brave, and honorable in their service?
They were some of the best soldiers I worked with.
So
Senator.
women have been serving in combat for a long time. Women have even been serving in combat units like infantry battalions for a long time in roles like medics or mechanics or what have you. So what we're talking about here specifically is women in ground combat roles.
And so again, if we go back to what Charlie Kirk was saying, they have equal time and they'll go back and forth. So this is Republican Tom Cotton. And again, just throwing him softballs and able to kind of clear up all the stuff that he wasn't able to answer or introduce some new thing that is like, oh, hey, he's good at this.
About here specifically is women in ground combat roles.
And like I was saying before, like there's already women in combat roles. So you could say those women do really good. That doesn't mean we should send more women to do that job.
In jobs like infantrymen or artillerymen or special forces. Until about 10 years ago, that wasn't
artillery women, thank you very much.
the case. Under Secretary Panetta, those roles were opened up to women to serve in. Has President Trump indicated at all that he plans to rescind or alter that guidance?
You're correct to point out, Senator, that these are the decisions that the Commander-in-Chief will have the prerogative to make. He has not indicated to me that he has plans to change whether or not women would have access to these roles. However, I would point out, ensuring that standards are equal and high is of importance to him and great importance to me. Because in those ground combat roles, what is true is that the weight of the ruck on your back doesn't change. The weight of the 155 round that you have to carry doesn't change. The weight of the 240 Bravo machine gun you might have to carry doesn't change. And so whether it's a man or a woman, they have—
Guys, I've actually put the link before, but the link to the free Discord server is in the chat. Come on and hang out.
Have to meet the same high standards. And Senator, in any place where those things have been eroded or in courses, criteria have been changed in order to meet quotas, racial quotas or gender quotas, that is putting a focus on something other than readiness, standards, meritocracy, and lethality. So that's the kind of review I'm talking about, not whether women have access to ground combat.
Okay,
so you mean you're not a raging, misogynistic, sexist, horrible person. You just care about the military. Okay.
Thank you. We've got a big audience here. Many of them seem to be patriotic supporters of you, Mr. Hegseth. Some of them seem to be liberal critics of you. I would note that it's only the liberal critics that have disrupted this hearing, as was my custom during the Biden administration. I want to give you a chance to respond to what they said about you. I think the first one accused you of being a Christian Zionist. I'm not really sure why that is a bad thing. I'm a Christian. I'm a Zionist. Zionism is that the Jewish people deserve a homeland in the ancient Holy Land where they've lived since the dawn of history.
So at the point now where, like, okay, fine. If you think Israel's got way too much influence over the U.S., yeah, I'm totally with that. But to even believe that, as an American, to even believe that Israel should exist at all is an automatic bad thing. That is something that you can yell out and expect people to have support for you. Okay, guys. All right. Don't forget about the puppy here. He is very hungry, and every donation comes with a treat. Look how fucking cute he is. He's so cute, and he's so hungry. Help us out, guys.
Do you consider yourself a Christian Zionist?
Senator, I'm a Christian, and I robustly support the state of Israel and its existential defense, and the way America comes alongside them is a great
Thank
ally.
you. Because another
Not the last part, but
another protester, and I think this one was a member of Code Pink, which, by the way, is a Chinese Communist front group these days, said that you support Israel's war in Gaza. I support Israel's existential war in Gaza. I assume, like me and President Trump, you support that war as well, don't you?
Senator,
I support them being at war. I don't support us being at war for them.
I support Israel destroying and killing every last member of Hamas.
And the third protester said something about 20 years of genocide. I assume that's our wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Do you think our troops are committing genocide in Iraq and Afghanistan?
Senator, I do not. I think our troops, as you know, as so many in this committee know, did the best they could with what they have. We're not the outcomes. And tragically, the outcome we saw in Afghanistan under the Biden administration put a stain on that, but it doesn't put a stain on what those men and women did in uniform, as you know full well, Senator.
Thank you, Mr.
Well said.
Hegseth.
I have many concerns.
Yo, real quick, when I first saw one of these Gillibrand clips, I remember thinking about how, remember, I was an ever-Trumper, wasn't really paying attention to politics, didn't really know shit about shit. And so looking at the field of Democratic candidates in 2016, I knew that I hated Hillary. And, you know, I was looking at her, and she got old. This is what she looked like when she ran. And it's like, damn, bro, you got old. I mean, aches. Anyway.
In uniform, as you know full well, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Hegseth.
I have many concerns about your record and particularly your public statements because they are so hurtful to the men and women who are currently serving in the U.S. military, harmful to morale, harmful to good order and discipline.
Shout out to Gay.
If you are saying that women shouldn't be serving in the military, and I'm going to read you your quotes because
you know what, honestly, if she just dyed, it's the color. Like if you just dyed it, I mean, how old is she? How old is she? Let's see. She is 58. I mean, she looks 58. I mean, we saw like what Halle Berry looked at 58. And I mean, not everybody's Halle Berry, but I'm saying it can be done.
are saying that women shouldn't be serving in the military. And I'm going to read you your quotes because the quotes
Wait, didn't it just say whatever
themselves are terrible. You will have to change how you see women to do this job well. And I don't know if you are capable of that. So
Hey, we got our boy Guam Tag. Welcome to the party. Very, very good to see you. Finally, we got a mod in the building. Welcome. Good day to TPUSA. You're going through Pete Hegseth's confirmation hearing highlights.
Change how you see women to do this job well. And I don't know if you are capable of that. So I want to press on these issues that my colleague Jean Shaheen brought up because she said it so well. So first of all, you answered your questionnaire. Do you believe that any American who wants to serve their country in the military and can meet objective standards?
Bro, we were did you see me bring up her picture 2 seconds before you chatted? I was saying, in 2016, during the field, I knew that I didn't want Hillary. I was looking at her and I pulled up this picture here. And we were like, yeah, damn, she got old fast. This is from at least 2016. But like, yeah, damn. And Guam Tag gives us a great message. Guys, if you could help me out by sharing this video, it does not matter where you put it. Facebook, DMs, texts, it does not matter. As long as you tell YouTube, I would like to share this video, it will help out the channel. Thank you so much. And if you're new here, why have you not subscribed? If you did, then you're awesome.
Set by the military should be allowed to serve.
Actually, let's back that up a sec.
You answered your questionnaire. Do you believe that any American who wants to serve their country in the military and can meet objective standards set by the military should be allowed to serve without limitation? You've said yes to that question. But
it doesn't look like Ozempic. She looks like she's got the good genes.
But then in all of these other circumstances, you've denigrated active duty service members. We have hundreds of women who are currently in the infantry, lethal members of our military serving in the infantry.
Right. So when he says those women do a good job, there's no hypocrisy in saying we don't want more women there, if that's your opinion.
But you degrade them. You say we need moms, but not.
We do need moms.
The military, especially in combat units. So
yeah, I think the children would agree.
Specific to Senator Cotton's question, because Senator Cotton was giving you layups to differentiate.
Hey, thank you so very, very much, sir. Again, it really does help so very much. Thank
you. Between different types of combat. And specifically, as Secretary, would you take any action to reinstitute the combat arms exclusion for female service members, knowing full well you have hundreds of women doing that job right now? And the standards, your 2 mile run, Tom, is about the Army Combat Fitness Test. It is not the requirements to have an MOS 11 Bravo, which is the infantry. These are the requirements today.
Are they different for men and for women? If not, then cool. Good job to those women for meritocratically getting into those roles. If not, then that's exactly what the hell he's talking about. That's right, Patrick. Welcome to the party. I am Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Welcome to the party. We are going through Pete Hegseth's confirmation hearing to be Defense Secretary. Welcome to the party. Ooh, look at that. Save me a slice, bruh. Save me a slice.
Out the Army Combat Fitness Test. It is not the requirements to have an MOS 11 Bravo, which is the infantry. These are the requirements today for people serving in the industry, men and women. They are gender neutral and they are very difficult to meet. They have not been reduced in any way and are—
Okay, fine. Then we don't have an issue. Is there other areas where standards have been reduced? Then that's what we're talking about.
very difficult to meet. They have not been reduced in any way, and our combat units, our infantry is lethal.
Is there a question, or are you just ranting?
So please explain specifically, because you will be in charge of 3 million personnel. It is a big job. And when you make these public statements, and I get you were not Secretary of Defense then, I get you were on TV, I get you were helping veterans, I get it was a different job. But most recently, you said this in November of 2024, knowing full well you might have been named as Secretary of Defense.
Oh, so what you're saying is that he's honest, and even despite the fact that saying what his belief is could come up in a hearing like this, he still said it. Sounds like integrity to me. Context. And can we just pause a moment to appreciate how good the slogan, the second coming of common sense is? I think it just came to me. I don't know. I don't remember. I definitely didn't like workshop it. It just kind of came to me. Thank you. And of course, guys, don't forget that you can get your free stickers if you email me at TheIndianJesusOfficial at gmail.com. I want to make sure we're always in contact. Patrick said there's only one in Jesus, and he was Jewish per previous history of God's people. Indian Jesus is silly, if not blasphemous. Actually, that is not the case. We have my blasphemy argument right here. Oh no, where is it? Oh, I lost it. But yeah, blasphemy is the closing off your heart to the, I don't know where it is, closing off your heart permanently to the existence or love of God. And I absolutely have not done that. If there is ever any sufficient evidence, then I will 100% believe that God exists. And also, there's a million Jesuses in Mexico. But welcome to the party. There we go. Throwing stickers on the skates. Love it. Thank you for repping the cause.
November of 2024, knowing full well you might have been named as Secretary of Defense. So please explain these types of statements, because they're brutal and they're mean. And
I don't think they are. And even if they were, whether they were mean or not mean, I'm more concerned with if they're true. Jesus begs the difference.
they disrespect men and women who are willing to die for this country.
Well, Senator, I appreciate your comments. And I would point out, I've never disparaged women serving in the military. I respect every single female service member that has put on the uniform, past and present. My critiques, Senator, recently and in the past, and from personal experience, have been instances where I've seen standards lowered, and you mentioned 11 Alpha, 11 Bravo, MOS, places in units, and it...
Tvierski said brutal, mean like war. Yeah. But no, this is worse, bro. This is worse. These are mean words.
The book that has been referenced multiple times here, The War on Warriors. I spent months talking to active duty service members, men and women, low ranks, high ranks, combat arms and not combat arms. And what each and every one of them told me, and which personal instances have shown me, is that in ways direct, indirect, overt, and subtle, standards have been changed inside infantry training units, ranger school, infantry battalions to ensure that
Give me one
commanders
example. Please give me an example. I get
I was about to. Shut your fucking old ass mouth up. Yeah, brutal and mean. This is a bomb group or the fucking military. It sure sounds like a bomb group, but let me assure you, this is the highest level military in the world.
you're making these
commanders
generalized
meet
statements.
quotas to have a certain number of.
So if he's making generalized statements, instead of attacking what you think they mean, why don't you ask for the broader context of what he means? Crazy, right? Or that, well, you would only do that if you're actually trying to understand.
Example. I get you're making these
Commanders
generalized
meet
statements.
quotas to have a certain number of female infantry officers or infantry enlisted, and that disparages those women who are
Commanders do
incredibly
not have to
capable
meet
of meeting
quotas
that
for the infantry.
standard.
Commander,
Yep. And that is a perfect example of something that she started talking because she didn't want what he was saying to come out. The fact that you lower the standards for women is an affront to those women. It's assuming from the get that they can't do it. And maybe they can't, maybe we're right, but you're the one saying women can't do it. TV said, if World War VII breaks out, we will need women like her to make mean tweets for God and country. Like, yeah, got it. I get it. She's going to have a pivotal role, but she's going to want to be, on the front lines.
commanders do not have to have a quota for women in the infantry. That does not
Lie.
exist.
Just like how cops don't have quotas for tickets, right?
Come on, man.
Commanders do not have to have a quota for women in the infantry. That does not exist. It does not exist. And your statements are creating the impression that these exist, because they do not. There are not quotas. We want the most lethal force. But I'm telling
Okay, so let's bring it to a poll. Our recent one, or most recent one, is: have you heard of Pete Hegseth before this? 57% of you saying yes. With another 14 being like, I heard of him, but I don't really know. So I guess you guys are a little more in the know than I am sometimes, or maybe you're just a bigger fan of Fox. Shit, I forgot the question I was gonna do.
that these exist, because they do not. There are not.
Oh, do you believe these quotas exist? Hold on.
Statements are creating the impression that these exist, because they do not. There are not quotas. We want the most lethal force. But I'm telling
Doesn't seem like it.
you, having been here for 15 years, listening to testimony about men and women in combat and the type of operations that were successful in Afghanistan and in Iraq, women were essential for many of those units. When Ranger units went in to find where the terrorists hiding in Afghanistan.
Again, the old bait and switch, acting like Pete was saying that women can't do it. Projection. It is you who is saying these things.
Or in Iraq, if they had a woman in the unit, they could go in, talk to the women in a village, say, where are the terrorists hiding? Where are the weapons hiding? And get crucial information to make sure that we can win that battle. So you cannot denigrate women in general in your statements.
Yeah, see, there's no question here. It's just me. You're not mean enough. Well, I mean, to me, I'm mean. No, wait, I'm the mean one. You're supposed to. Wait, I don't get it. I really feel like that's exactly what just happened in her mind. Want the most lethal force, as long as it's not mean.
Come on, man.
Political theater.
That battle. So you cannot denigrate women in general, and your statements do that. We don't want women in the military, especially in combat. What a terrible statement. So please do not deny that you made those statements. You have. We take the responsibility of standards very seriously, and we will work with you.
Do you though?
I'm equally distressed. You would not meet with me before this hearing.
Another one. Why won't you hang out with me? They all just want to get some of that
Could have covered all of this before you came here, so I could get to the 15 other questions that I want.
Shout out to Dietrich. Oh, hold on. How do I do this? There we go. Said, you're cooked with the ramen. All right. Yeah, I got another dilly from me, sir. Good one, sir.
Covered all of this before you came here, so I could get to the 15 other questions that I want to get to. So women, you have denigrated. You have also denigrated members of the LGBTQ community. Did you know that when Don't Ask, Don't Tell was in place, we lost so many crucial personnel, over 1,000 in mission critical areas. We lost 10% of all our foreign language speakers because of a political policy. You said in your statement, you don't want politics in the DOD. Everything you've said in these public statements is politics. I don't want women. I don't want moms. What's wrong with a mom, by the way? Once you have babies,
She has kids. There's nothing wrong with her. She should just have higher priorities than anything else. Should be her children.
you therefore are no longer able to be lethal. I mean, you're basically saying women after they have children can't ever serve in the military in a combat role. It's a silly thing to say. It's a silly thing to say beneath the position that you are aspiring to. To denigrate LGBTQ service members is a mistake.
What's with the redhead and the heavies in the corner?
If you are a sharpshooter, you're as lethal regardless of what your gender identity is, regardless of who you love. So
Your gender identity.
please know this to be a true statement. So
Be like, yeah, sure, okay. I'm not arguing with any of that. Exactly. Shout out to Matthew King. Welcome to the party. Said, isn't she supposed to be asking questions? She's peppering some in there. Not that they are relevant or meant to be answered by Pete. But she's asking questions. She's just taking this time. She hasn't had this much attention since 2016. So, I mean, hey, you gotta grab it while it's there. Welcome to the party, sir. TV said, well, she may have a point. Soccer moms in minivans can be very, very lethal. Great. That's a scary one. Shout out to Dylan Soup. Welcome to the party, sir. Very good to see ya. Good to see ya. What do I got here? Let's see what we're looking at. All right. Well, there it is. Shout out to TV Viewerski with the $10 PayPal. Thank you so very, very much, sir. And of course, every donation comes with a treat for Morty. Thank you so very, very much, sir. Very much appreciated. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Let me grab that before I forget. I'd be forgetting this shit too much. We got our boy TV. Oh, Jesus. Now I don't know how to type. What happened to my fingers? TV Viewerski with the 10. Thank you so very, very much. And the PayPal is absolutely awesome. Not at all complaining. We do have the super chat goal there as well, though, guys. But hey, YouTube takes some of our money and PayPal doesn't. So either way, very, very, very much appreciated. Said, hail Morty. That's our little guy there. Thank you so very, very much, sir.
it's regardless of who you love. So please know this to be a true statement. So you say it was a political thing. You say it undermined us, social engineering. I don't know why someone having to publicly say or not publicly say who they love is social engineering. I think
was he pushing Don't Ask, Don't Tell? I feel like he was in high school when that happened.
having that policy in the first place was highly problematic. And
again, like, even stop to ask. Maybe he agrees with you.
as you said in your statement, do you agree anybody should be able to serve in the military if they meet the standards?
If they meet the standards, assuming we don't change the standards to allow them to meet it.
Senator, as the president has stated, I don't disagree with the overturn of Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
Great, because I don't want you thinking, can't serve if you're a mom, can't serve if you're LGBTQ, and then last, can't serve if you're a leftist. The statements you said about people who have views differently than you, that we're the enemy. Are you saying that 50% of the DOD, if they hold liberal views or leftist views or are Democrats, are not welcome in the military? Are you saying?
Hold the fuck up. Are we now trying to say that Pete Hegseth is at the forefront of calling Americans terrorists or enemies of? No. We ain't doing that. We've been a basket of deplorables for so long. Before he was even in the goddamn basket, I jumped in that basket on my own. Because it's the right place to be. He's like, no, lefties first. Trust me. Yeah, I'm with that. Put them on the front lines. Men and women. There we go. That is the ultimate compromise. If you're a leftist and you're a woman, then you get to go first. Leftist men get to go second, and then everybody else. Brilliant.
Leftist views or our Democrats are not welcome in the military? Are you saying that?
Senator, I volunteered to deploy to Afghanistan under Democrat President Barack Obama. I also volunteered to guard the inauguration of Joe Biden, but was denied the opportunity to serve because I was identified as an extremist by my own unit.
Exactly. Thank you. For a Christian tattoo, as an atheist, that offends me. That you're going to say you're an extremist because you have a Christian tattoo. This is exactly. Wait. I almost missed it. Projection. It's like you put it in your head and then you pretend that it's somebody else. That's projection. You just said, put the dog in the fucking basket, you bitch. Yeah, well, hey, sometimes it's not all rainbows and sunshine, you know what I mean?
That too.
I want to talk about.
In case you had
I
missed
volunteered to guard the inauguration of Joe Biden, but was denied the opportunity to serve because I was identified as an extremist by my own unit for a Christian tattoo.
I want to talk.
And again, guys, we have not only the is it though, but you can get the where is it? Projection. We got t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got all kinds of stuff at TheIndianJesus.com.
Because I was identified as an extremist by my own unit for a Christian tattoo.
I want to talk about financial mismanagement at the two organizations that you headed, which are the only test of your financial management that
See, this guy knows how to dye his hair.
we have before this committee, the Veterans for Freedom and Concerned Veterans for America. You took over.
There's a certain age where dyeing your hair makes you look older. You look older because it's like the uncanny valley of having hair like that. Come on, man. Come on. Just have white hair.
Committee, the Veterans for Freedom and Concerned Veterans for America.
I wish they would put the names. I'm not super familiar with like senators and smaller people. What's this guy's name?
America, you took over.
I'm sure I've heard of him.
The Veterans for Freedom in 2007. In 2008, you raised $8.7 million, but spent more than $9 million, creating a deficit.
Guys, we only got one super chat in the goal. We got 20 minutes left. We just need 9 left, and Morty gets his peanut butter. Don't deprive him. He needs it. I've had it cut for 3 days. 3 days.
By January 2009, you told donors that the organization had less than $1,000 in the bank and debts of $434,000. By 2010, revenue at the Veterans for Freedom had dropped to about $265,000. In the next year, it had dropped further to $22,000. You don't
A bigger picture on the heavies.
dispute these numbers, do you?
Senator, I'm extremely proud of the work me and my fellow vets did at Vets for Freedom. A bunch of young vets with no political experience, a small group, working hard every single day. We raised donor funds.
Then don't interrupt.
And and we have letters submitted for the record from almost everyone that worked with me every single day, including our chief operating officer, who will attest that every dollar we raised was used intentionally toward the execution of our mission, which is supporting the warfighters. Exactly why we're here today. The warfighters in the Iraq surge. There was a campaign in 2008, Senator. It was Barack Obama versus John McCain.
Ask you
we believe John McCain would be the right person to win, and so we spent
tax
more.
returns.
How is it that the women are able to get him to stop talking by interrupting? And if I can just interrupt you really, really quick. You just said Blumenthal. Is that who this is? Blumenthal? Max Blumenthal? Is that right? Blumenthal is what happens when a dark yet pitiful spirit brings a ventriloquist gummy to life. Makes sense. Makes sense. TV said 2010? Remind me again exactly what Lois Lerner? Who's Lois Lerner? I don't, you know these references, guys. I don't fucking get these references. Come on, man. I'm sure it was very funny.
Just to ask you another
we believe
question.
John McCain would be the right person to win, and so we spent
tax
more.
returns from that organization.
I'm glad they're for the record.
I'm going to ask to be entered into the record, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection.
These tax returns are yours. They have your signature. And I'm going to ask that members of the committee review them because they're the only documents. I've asked for others. I've asked for the FBI report that would presumably document, it should have documented.
What is the point here?
This kind of financial mismanagement. And these are the 990s from that organization.
He needs to get to a point or I'm skipping this motherfucker.
By the year of 2011, donors had become so dissatisfied with that mismanagement, they in effect ousted you. They merged that organization with Military Families United. And thereafter, you joined a second organization as executive director.
In between, Senator, I went to Harvard University.
I want to ask you
and
questions.
Afghanistan.
I want to ask you questions about concerned veterans from
Then do it.
America. Again, another set of tax returns, the 990s from that organization. I ask they be made part of the record, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection, both of those returns are now part of the record.
That's exactly what I was saying. Uncanny Valley. It's the baby blood, the adrenochrome. Keep us young. All right, we'll give him another 30 seconds to say something.
2011 to 2016. At the end of 2013, shortfall of $130,000. At the end of 2014, shortfall of $428,000. You had a surplus.
Yeah, you know what? If we're talking about the government and wasting money, like you're just, yeah, that's what government does. You're not going to swing me one way or the other on anything that anybody has to say about wasting money in the government. So let's move on.
Blumenthal.
Good morning, Mr. Hegseth, and thank you very much. I appreciate your service to our nation. It's something that I know you are very proud of, and it is something that we have in common and that we share.
Well, at least somebody said it.
You and I have had many productive conversations.
Ladies, Warren and Gillibrand, are you jealous? Look at that smile. Look at that smile. That's why they were so angry that Pete wouldn't sit down with them.
And just for our audience, we have had very frank conversations. Is that correct, Mr. Hegseth?
Senator, that is a correct characterization.
Can somebody give me her name if they know?
You know that
Senator Ernst.
I don't keep anything hidden, pull no punches. My colleagues know that as well. So I do appreciate you sitting down and allowing me the opportunity to question you thoroughly on those issues that are of great importance to me.
Yo, the glasses make a difference.
Just to recap those issues, three that are very important. One is the deal.
Whoa, what was this? What was this? Lady, I hope this was pre Y2K. This is a pre Y2K haircut. I'm glad we changed it. TPUSA said she was Obama's head of IRS. Got busted for going after conservative groups. Oh, so another corrupt liar. Question. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Issues, three that are very important. One is the DOD and making sure that we have a clean audit. The second is women in combat, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. And the third was maintaining high standards and making sure that we are combating sexual assault in the military. Okay, so Mr. Hegseth, I'm going to address the issue because this will tie into some of the financial concerns that have been raised here as well. And it's why, I'm trusting my fellow Iowan asked for unanimous consent of his letter.
That's mean. That's brutal and mean.
to go into the record. But like me, a lot of Iowans are really, really concerned and upset about the wasteful Washington spending and of course, in our Pentagon. It's an issue that I have been combating for years.
Okay. All right. If we're talking about how everybody wants to stop spending in Washington, let's do it. Let's do it. Why does she have the Elder Karen haircut? If the shoe fits. If the shoe fits. It's so funny. Let's see. All right, I'm going to try and find it. It's the funniest. Actually, there is. All right, let me see if I can find it. And then give me a sec.
Concerned and upset about the wasteful Washington spending and of course, in our Pentagon. It's an issue that I have been combating for years. So there's significant room for greater efficiency and cost cutting within the department. And the DOD is the only federal agency that has never passed an audit. As the Senate Doge Caucus Chair and founder, that's unacceptable to me, and it should be unacceptable to you as well. So I appreciate that you mentioned that in your opening statement. What are those steps that you will take to ensuring the Pentagon has a clean audit by the year 2028?
Senator.
Okay. Is she a Republican? Because this doesn't seem like a setup. This seems like a softball where she's trying to help. But if she worked for Obama, I don't know. It's like, lady, you don't want to talk to the manager. But in our views, this has been going around TikTok, and one of the reasons that I absolutely love TikTok, and you just don't get this kind of thing. You just don't get this kind of thing on other apps. And you may actually have seen this crossover, but this has been going on for 3 days, and there's a million videos, and they're all exactly responding to this situation. But so let's just go.
Why do people in open relationships always look like that?
They do, don't they? They always look like that.
I'm being.
No, because what do you mean by that?
How dare you? What do you mean by that? That. I love when examples pop up. Thank you. I'm a visual learner. I know that person didn't just say, Lord, I'm behind enemy lines. I'm glad that second commenter summed up what she said, because I was not about to watch that 7.5-minute stitch. But to answer this dude's question, what I think it is.
All right, so the actual question isn't funny, but there's so many. Can we get how do we go with the? I don't know how to even find the original, but there's so many. There's so many, and it's the stitch of that same girl. Or I don't know, the they them or whatever it is, the ginger they them, the worst thing you could ever find. But it's just just you cannot get that. You cannot get that anywhere else. Matthew King said these people really enjoy the sound of their own voices. Homies just hanging out, listening to their speeches. Pretty much. It might be gone in a few days. All right. Let me live. Can you just, all right. Okay. Can you just for once? Okay. Just please. Okay. TikTok definitely. I mean, I don't really use I don't really go on that side of TikTok. So, that's the beauty of it, that, if you are into UFO videos, you're going to get plenty. Obviously while the drones were flying over, my state, I was seeing a lot of that, but that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. Dietrich said, I'm a married man, but if she wanted to have a productive discussion, it'd be hard not to have a few words for her. If you know, you know. I know. G.I. Jackie. That's not, G.I. Jackie, you gotta have no hair. Right? G.I. Jane was Demi Moore with no hair.
Ensuring the Pentagon has a clean audit by the year 2028.
Oh, we have somebody else who actually cares? We have somebody else who actually cares? Me too. I'm kind of in a win-win situation, because all the TikTok people are just going to flood to YouTube, and this, for a political channel, this is the lowest point in a 4-year cycle. Not only the end of a year, but the end of an election cycle. So bring them on over. But that being said, I would still prefer all those people stay on TikTok so that I could watch more TikToks. And oh, honey, sweetie baby. Oh, honey, sweetie baby. comparing TikTok to YouTube Shorts is like comparing acid to some Reggie weed. Just not the same. All right. Auditing, making sure that the Pentagon ain't wasting our money.
To ensuring the Pentagon has a clean audit by the year 2028.
Senator, I appreciate your work on this topic, which you've been involved in for a long time. You mentioned Concerned Veterans for America. I just want to clarify, we have very generous donors who set a very clear budget that we stuck to every single year. So the latitude there was restricted, and we worked very hard and diligently inside it. You've also been a leader on the Pentagon audit.
Yeah, do not. If you are on TikTok, TikTok is TikTok, whatever. The CCP already has your information. What you don't want, there's Lemonade, a new kind of like a clone of that's also owned by ByteDance that is not an American company. Do not download that. If TikTok goes, it's going the way of Vine. I never used Vine, but you know, it is what it is. We lived through it. We loved it. We had it. And just like a mandala, all beautiful things are impermanent. King said, I want you on it, though. I want the people to know you as I do. Well, there's only one way to do that. Share the videos. I used to be all up on YouTube Shorts, but the fact of the matter is that people who watch YouTube Shorts don't watch 3-hour live streams. So I spent a shit ton of time creating this and making it look this and adding the descriptions and the tags and all that stuff, barely to get any views. And then when I did get views, it'd be people who were just watching the shorts and never coming here. And that's what it's all for. You said TikTok knew it was a matter of time. All right. Yeah, absolutely. Be Trump, not Prince Harry. Well said. TikTok is Trump. YouTube Shorts is Prince Harry. Well said. All right. The actual Pentagon
restricted, and we worked very hard and diligently inside it. You've also been a leader on the Pentagon audit for a very long time. I think when we met, Senator, I said 2014 was the first year. Mm-hmm. We discovered a 2013 op-ed I wrote.
Is this supposed to be like the Wi-Fi community? The Little Pinks. Who's the Little Pinks?
About the need for a Pentagon audit, because an audit is an issue of national security. And
is this a racist way to talk about Chinese children?
And frankly, respect to American taxpayers who give $850 billion over to the Defense Department and expect that we know where that money goes. And if that money is going somewhere that doesn't add to tooth and instead goes to fat or tail, we need to know that. Or if it's wasted, we need to know that. So I think previous secretaries of defense, with all due respect, haven't necessarily emphasized the strategic prerogative of an audit. And myself, my deputy SecDef, and others already know that a Pentagon audit will be the comptroller, others central to ensuring we find those dollars that can be used elsewhere.
So we got the Doge mindset coming up here to the DOD. I am with it. And that's interesting, because that does not happen to me. I mean, maybe, like, did you ever go through a period of watching shorts a lot? Maybe it's different because I'm a creator, but they have the YouTube Studio app. Oh, God, Jesus Christ. They have the YouTube Studio app on the top here where you can see like the back end analytics and all that stuff. But if I open the actual app, it just brings me to, well, I was watching that before, but if I, so let's close the whole thing down. Let's see if it opens on shorts. Yeah, mine just stays right here. So I don't know. They're trying to push it on you. But exactly what is Matthew saying here, that I don't want shorts. That's not what I'm on YouTube for. And most of you who are here watching a long form thing also are not interested in short form content. Or if you are, then it's going to be different than this. So it just, it doesn't crossover. I wish it did. And I mean, obviously, if you blow up, it'll definitely bring more people to the to the stream. But if I'm getting less views on the shorts than I am on the stream, then I'm just wasting my time. And editing is hell. TV Viewers said, "Little pink is a term to used to describe young Chinese nationalists on the internet." I got it. Dilly to me. All right. Some Western critics have described Little Pink as ultra nationalist. I don't know. I think that's hilarious. Wow. Yeah, that's maybe try to delete it, like uninstall and install it again. That might that might do the trick. It might reset some stuff. I don't know. But all right. So this is another softball. They're basically saying, yeah, we want to make sure there's no waste here. Sexual allegation.
Yes, I will.
I am focused on your fitness to serve, including your character and temperament
Oh,
and your
I remember this bitch.
overall qualifications to do the job. And I do appreciate the comments of Ranking Member Reed with his concerns regarding your nomination, because I share those concerns. As part of my responsibility as a member of this committee to ensure the fitness of all nominees to come before any of the committees on which I sit, I ask the following two initial questions. First, since you became a legal adult, have you ever made unwanted requests for sexual favors or committed any verbal or physical harassment or assault of a sexual
Harassment?
nature?
No, Senator.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a
Oh, sorry. What happened? Sorry.
Senator.
Have you ever faced discipline or entered into a settlement relating to this kind of conduct?
Senator, I was falsely accused in October of 2017. It was fully investigated and I was completely cleared.
I don't think completely cleared is accurate, but
So he's in jail then. Is that what you're saying? He went to jail for this in 2017? Or was he cleared?
the fact is that your own lawyer said that you entered into an NDA and paid a person who accused you of raping her a sum of money to make sure that she did not file a complaint. Moving.
Yep, because if it didn't happen, that would be very, very, very inconvenient now, wouldn't it?
On. As secretary, you will be in charge of maintaining good order and discipline by enforcing the Uniform Code of Military Justice, UCMJ. In addition to the sexual assault.
Yeah, is that in comparison with certain members of your party, Senator? Maybe certain presidents and their children in the shower by their own account? Not fit to run, but still fit to lead, I guess.
Come on, man. Assault allegations. And by the way, the answer to my second question should have been yes. I have read multiple reports of your regularly being drunk at work, including by people who worked with you at Fox News. Do you know that being drunk at work is prohibited for service members under the UCMJ?
Yeah, who would drink on the job? Oh, if I can find this other TikTok, I am going to be so happy.
You know that being drunk at work is prohibited for service members under the UCMJ?
Please. Let me
Senator, those
Yes
are
or no?
multiple false anonymous reports peddled by NBC
Do you
News
know that
run directly
drinking on the job
contradictory to the
is
dozens of men and women at
not
Fox News
contemplated
Channel
on it?
who I work with
I'm not
who came
hearing
on
the
the
answer to my
record
question.
and said
In your
they've
opening
never seen
statement,
that.
Mr. Hegseth, you commit to holding leaders accountable at all levels. That includes you, of course. And frankly, as secretary, you will be on the job 24/7. You recently promised some of my Republican colleagues that you stopped drinking and won't drink if confirmed, correct?
Absolutely.
Will you resign as Secretary of Defense if you drink on the job, which is a 24/7 position?
I've made this commitment on behalf of
Will
the
you
men and women I'm
resign as
serving.
Secretary of Defense
I've
if
made this
you
commitment
drink
on
on the
behalf of
job?
the men and women I'm serving.
I'm not
because it's the
hearing-
most.
Again, just say yes. Just say yes. Nobody's going to fire you for, come on. It's the government. They just found a bag of Coke and nobody thought anything of it. But this made me think of this guy. Yeah, I'm sure you guys have seen this somewhere because he is huge, but this guy is hilarious. Had me thinking about drinking on the job.
I'm trying to think how long I was there. Fudge.
Job
I'm
interview.
so buzzed right now. I'm trying to think. I think about a year and a half.
Okay. You know what I think we need? Can we do this interview with you're not drinking?
Oh, I'm not like getting drunk or anything. I'm just catching a little buzz. I do it every day. It kind of gets me pumped up.
Okay. I'm
Pete be like,
really not comfortable with it though.
Oh,
so
good.
if you are having a hard time telling me how long you worked for someplace and then you said it's because you're buzzed, I would prefer to have an interview with somebody who's not drinking.
No more alcohol. I'm done. I'm not buzzed. I'm not buzzed.
Okay. How about we do this again? I'll give you a call some other time and we can do this again.
I'm not even buzzed. I don't even.
There's one. Oh, let's give it one more.
Calling community
Oh,
catches
God
enough strays,
damn it.
so I'm not trying to.
And how long did you work?
Give me one. All right, we're gonna try one more. All right,
I'm good with numbers and stuff. So.
Excellent. I'm sorry, are you drinking a beer on the call?
Oh yeah, just getting a little buzz going.
Okay.
Same thing. It's a job interview.
Interesting. I don't think this is going to be a right fit for us going forward.
Oh, why is that? I have 6 months of experience.
You're day drinking on an interview.
Oh, I usually day drink. I just get a little buzz going just to kind of stay productive throughout the day.
No, I understand you, but that is against our policy.
Oh well, no one saw that. How you doing today?
I really don't think this is going to be a good fit for you.
I need more than 6 months experience. Was that?
No, it's not the experience that's the issue. It's what I just witnessed on the phone call.
What did you witness?
You were just drinking a beer on the call.
No, I wasn't.
I think we're all set, Winnie. Thank you so much for your time today.
I wasn't drinking a beer on the call though.
You just said you were.
No, I said I wasn't drinking a beer on the call.
You said you were looking to get a little bit of a buzz.
I do not recall saying that.
Well, I definitely do, and I saw it myself. So thank you so much for your time. I'm going to end
Are
this
you
call a little bit early.
okay? Are you sure you're not buzzed? Maybe that's fine.
Yep, I'm sure. Thank you.
Okay, I wasn't drinking a beer on the call.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day.
I guess
Thank you.
I'll call back if I get more experience. It was the experience thing, right?
And he has ones where he's like eating. He's like stuffing his face. Like, person be like, "Are you eating?" I don't know. That's what that remind me of. TV viewers said, "Oh my God, I've now replaced Anthony Perkins' face with Biden's in the shower scene from Psycho." Jing, 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 jing. Yep, it fits. It fits.
Secretary of Defense.
I've
if
made this
you
commitment
drink
on
the
behalf
job.
of the men and women I'm serving.
I'm not
because it's the
hearing-
most important deployment
I'm not
of my
hearing an
life.
answer to my question, so I'm going to.
I thought the Democrats were all about getting fucked up. I thought drugs were good.
Move on. While you have made that
So again, you didn't want an answer. You just wanted to put the question out there. Okay.
commitment, you will not commit to resigning if you drink on the job. As Secretary of Defense, you will swear an oath to the Constitution and not an oath to any man, woman, or president, correct?
Senator, on multiple occasions,
how it
including as a
works.
young second lieutenant, I have sworn an oath to the
Answer is
Constitution,
yes.
and I'm proud to do so. Yes, ma'am.
In June of 2020, then President Trump directed former Secretary of Defense Mark Esper to shoot protesters in the legs in downtown DC.
Esper? I barely even know her.
An order Secretary Esper refused to comply with. Would you carry out such an order from President Trump?
Senator, I was in the Washington, D.C. National Guard unit that was in Lafayette Square during those
Would you
events,
carry
holding
out
a
an
riot
order to
shield on
shoot
behalf of my
protesters
country.
in the legs?
I saw 50
as
Secret
directed
Service agents get injured
Secretary
by
Esper.
rioters trying to jump over the fence, set
Again-
the church on
See, this is the problem with the fact that they are all politicians. Like you can win this exchange by just saying the thing. No, I would not do that. Just say that. What right-wing harm comes from you not saying, if Trump told me to shoot someone in the leg, what is the benefit there?
fire and destroy
You know what? That sounds to me that you will
Chaos.
comply with such an order. You will shoot protesters in the leg. Moving on. President-elect has attacked.
Okay, is that? I guess he will shoot people in the legs because that's so easy to do in the first place.
Our allies in recent weeks, refusing to rule out using military force to take over Greenland and the Panama Canal, and threatening to make Canada the 51st state. Would you carry out an order from President Trump to seize Greenland, a territory of our NATO ally Denmark, by force, or would you comply with an order to take over the Panama Canal?
Senator, I will emphasize that President Trump received 77 million votes to be the lawful commander.
We're not talking about the election. My question is, would you use our military?
It's such a dumb line of questioning because you know that he's not going to be like, yes, I would. Like, what are you doing? How is this a good use of time? Moving on from this dumb bitch. Moving on to Hegseth pressed about sexual misconduct.
I want to return to the incident that you.
TV said does job interviews with a green screen on a motorbike, among other things. He's hilarious, and I wouldn't know about him if it wasn't for TikTok. Not because he's not on YouTube, because I never in a million years would have clicked on one of his videos on YouTube. And TikTok just knew. Dixon says she looks like she's the slow girl who should be making slushies. Oh, God. I mean, when you're right, you're right.
Thank you. That wasn't a question, Mr. Hegseth.
I want to return to the incident that you.
Wait, let's go back.
As there are close to 3 million personnel in the Department of Defense, $900 billion budget. I hardly think you are prepared to do the job. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. That wasn't a question, Mr. Hegseth.
I want to return to the incident.
Yeah, exactly. My point. Exactly my point. That, yeah, it's out there, but I personally never would have clicked on a video like that. But TikTok knew better than I did.
That you referenced a minute ago that occurred in Monterey, California in October 2017. At that time, you were still married to your second wife, correct?
I don't know. I was blacked out for that whole thing.
I believe so. And you had just fathered a child by a woman who would later become your third wife, correct?
Senator, I was falsely charged, fully investigated and completely cleared.
So you think you were completely cleared because you committed no crime? That's your definition of cleared?
Yes, that's how the law works.
You had just fathered a child 2 months before by a woman that was not your wife. I am shocked that you would stand here and say you're completely cleared. Can you so casually?
Having a child with someone is not assault. Does Tim Kaine not know what sexual assault is? Didn't he have his own sexual assault thing? I don't remember if it was him or Tim Walz. They're the same fucking dude.
Shocked that you would stand here and say you're completely cleared. Can you so casually cheat on a second wife and cheat?
Yes, that is not against the law.
On the mother of a child that had been born 2 months before, and you tell us you were completely cleared.
He's trying to make it the Jerry Springer show.
How is that a complete clear?
Senator,
because there was no conviction. What do you mean?
Her child's name is Gwendolyn Hope Hegseth, and she's a child of God, and she's 7 years old.
And she was, and you cheated on the mother of that child less than 2 months after that daughter was born, didn't you?
Yep, but I didn't break any laws.
Those were false charges. Well, no, fully investigated, and I was completely cleared. And I am so grateful for the marriage I have to this amazing woman behind me.
You've admitted that you had sex at that hotel in October 2017.
That's not harassment, dude.
You said it was consensual, isn't that correct?
Which would, by definition, make it not assault, right? Right? Unless they changed what sexual assault means again. I don't know, with all this semantic obfuscation. I don't know. Maybe sexual assault just means stepping out on your wife. But if you're going to do that, then unfortunately, you're going to have to put me in the unfavorable position. Given that definition, I'm being very careful here because I don't want this clipped out, that I would be, according to Tim Kaine's rules, I would not always be against, according to Tim, sexual assault. That's the situation you want to put me in? Dylan said, at that point, I'd say, for someone who's holding Hillary's water for 8+ months, you have no room to talk. There you go. Hey, shout out to F169. Welcome to the party. Very, very good to see ya. And I'm living the implosion going over these nominees. They're doing great. Oh, I'm loving the implosion. Yeah, they're having a hard time. Welcome. So very good to see ya.
At that hotel in October 2017. You said it was consensual, isn't that correct?
Anything?
You've admitted that it was consensual, and you were still married, and you just had a child by another woman.
Again,
how do you explain your judgment?
Completely false charges against me.
You
fully investigated.
See, now you're, and again, this is the issue with everyone in the room being so politician minded. She's like, yeah, I stepped out on my wife. That's not the same thing as assaulting someone, you moron.
And I was completely clear.
You have admitted that you had sex while you were married to wife 2 after you just had fathered a child by wife 3. You've admitted that. Now, if it had been
and again, I thought that free love and oppressing people that we want to have sex, I thought that was right-wing transphobia. But now, now we all care about the nuclear family. All the Democrats care about the nuclear family all of a sudden. Matthew King said these questions are ridiculous. The softball questions from the other side are just as stupid. It's political theater. It is literally just theater. They already have the questions before this starts. This is literally just for us, just to make it seem like they're doing a thing. That's literally all it is. Will this have real world implications? Of course. But the hullabaloo is just theater. And once not said, Congress has a slush fund that we pay for to pay off people who come forward about sex scandals. But Pete Hegseth, who had consensual sex, according to Tim Kaine, is a bad man.
Sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense.
Wait. Did you just pull a Sam Harris? If the pandemic was so terribly awful and people were dying and it was affecting children and it wasn't just fat and old people, well, then the vaccine would be good, right? He just pulled a Sam Harris.
Sex while you were married to wife 2 after you just had fathered a child by wife 3. You've admitted that. Now, if it had been a sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but it wasn't.
It was a false claim then and a false claim now.
Just answer the question, dude. Why are you dancing around? If it was sexual assault, then it would be disqualifying. Agreed. Yes. But it wasn't. So it's not.
Had been a sexual assault, that would be disqualifying to be Secretary of Defense, wouldn't it?
That was a false claim.
So you
talking about a hypothetical.
So you can't tell me whether someone who has committed a sexual assault is disqualified from being Secretary of Defense?
Senator, I know in my instance, and I'm talking about my instance only, it was a false claim.
But you acknowledge, that you cheated on your wife.
Yep.
And that you cheated on the woman by whom you had just fathered a child.
Hey, I like to get it in. Does that mean I can't keep you safe? Of course not. Almost 9 said Tim Kaine should have to answer questions about his nephews visiting his hotel rooms. Agreed. But we don't have to worry about that. Okay, he's in that seat. The only person we're supposed to care about is the person in the other seat. Come on, I'm 69. You're not playing by the rules. The rules are, it's only about what Pete Hegseth has done. Everything else in the world just doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. I bet you they didn't.
Your wife, and that you cheated on the woman by whom you had just fathered a child. You have admitted that.
I will. Like this pre-Trump, this may have been a little bit more powerful, but even pre-Clinton. But like once Clinton and then Trump, like, hey, I just don't give a fuck.
Allow your words to speak for them.
You're not retracting that today. That's good. I assume that in each of your weddings, you've pledged to be faithful to your wife. You've taken an oath to do that, haven't you?
Senator, as I've acknowledged to everyone in this committee, not a perfect person, not claiming to be.
But no, I just asked a simple question. You've taken an oath, like you would take an oath to be Secretary of Defense in all of your weddings to be faithful to your wife. Is that correct?
I have failed in things in my life, and thankfully I'm redeemed by my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
In finalizing
I don't love that, but
divorces from your first and second wives, were there non-disclosure agreements in connection with those divorces?
Senator.
Well, if there was, I couldn't tell you.
Not that I'm aware of.
If there were, would you agree to release those first and second wives from any confidentiality agreement?
Senator, it's not something I'm aware of.
But if there were, you would agree to release them from a confidentiality agreement?
Senator, that's...
Why would that be relevant? I understand what he's trying to get to, that, oh, well, maybe these people who he divorced will say awful things. I get it. But you, Tim Kaine, have to tie that directly to his position as the Defense Secretary. Again, when we look at politics, we're not looking for friends. We're looking for people who can do the fucking job.
Not my responsibility.
Did you ever engage in any acts of physical violence against any of your wives?
Senator, absolutely not.
But you would agree with me that if someone had committed physical violence against a spouse, that would be disqualifying to serve as Secretary of Defense, correct?
Senator, absolutely not. Have I ever done that?
This is who coached this man? So when they asked about sexual assault, you're like, well, no, I was cleared. I was cleared. When you asked about violence, absolutely not. So you're capable of giving a strong answer. And you chose not to give a strong answer when it came to the sexual assault. I'm just calling it like I say it. Yeah, right. Now, the magic word here is if. If. But again, it doesn't really matter here, because even though that's a stupid way to phrase it, well, if this, then that. Yeah, sure. If that, then whatever. Because now he's created disparity that he will answer certain hypotheticals, but he won't answer certain other hypotheticals. And now, as somebody who doesn't really know him that well, why is it so easy for you to answer about violence against your wives, but not easy to answer about sexual assault against your wives? He asked, and fucking what's her face? Ernst got it first. She got dibs. She got dibs. Dixie Insider said that was all. When did you stop beating your wife? And then he literally says it. Yep. Someone said used in the sentence. If Tim Kaine had the same bass in his voice with Pete as he would with his colleagues. I kind of like.
As Secretary of Defense, correct? Senator, absolutely not have I ever done that. You would agree
Absolutely not have I ever done that. That's a sentence people say.
that would be a disqualifying offense, would you not? Senator, you're talking about a hypothetical. I don't think it's a hypothetical.
Yeah, nope. It is a hypothetical, but that's okay. That's okay. Are you unable to answer hypotheticals? Is what Tim Kaine should say.
Violence against spouses occurs every day. And if you as a leader are not capable of saying that physical violence against a spouse should be a disqualifying fact for being secretary of the most powerful nation in the world, you're demonstrating an astonishing lack of judgment.
I mean, again, broken clock. Tim, you got one there. I don't know why if he was cagey about both answers, about the sexual assault and the violence. If he was cagey about both, then it'd be like, look, I'm not going to play into your dirty games here. But when it comes to the sexual assault, you're like, well, that never happened. I was cleared. This, that, all this fluff. And then it comes to violence, and you're absolutely not. Why the difference?
The incident in Monterey led to a criminal charge, a criminal investigation, a private settlement, and a cash payment to the woman who filed the complaint. And there was also a non-disclosure agreement, correct?
It was a confidential settlement agreement off of a nuisance lawsuit.
Right. During an interview, you claimed that you settled the matter because you were worried that if it became public, it might hurt your career. Do you maintain that you were blackmailed?
Senator, I maintain that false claims were made against me. And ultimately,
your attorney
those
used
false
the
claims,
phrase,
I had the opportunity to attest my innocence in those false claims.
But you didn't reveal any of this to President Trump or the transition team as they were considering you to be nominated for Secretary of Defense. You didn't reveal the action. You didn't reveal the criminal complaint. You didn't reveal the criminal investigation. You didn't reveal the settlement. You didn't reveal the cash payment. Why didn't you inform the commander-in-chief of the transition?
I'd just like to get a buzz. Why didn't you let him know that? Come here. Why didn't you just let him know that you want to come here and you stand there? Okay. It's your job, Tim Kaine, to be aware of this stuff. It's not the job applicant's job to give you disqualifying information. Like, if it's there, okay, we can judge that for what it is. But if someone's applying to a job, don't expect them to disqualify themselves. That's why we're doing this. If we could expect people to disqualify themselves, we wouldn't need you. We don't need you, but that's another story.
Reveal the cash payment. Why didn't you inform the commander-in-chief of the transition team of this very relevant event?
You should just be like, because I'm not fucking retarded. What do you mean?
Senator, I've appreciated every part of the process with the transition team. They have been open and honest with me. We've had great conversations between the two of us. And I appreciate the opportunity that President-elect Trump has given me.
You chose not to reveal this, right? Because you knew it would hurt your chances.
Yeah.
So you chose not to reveal this really important thing to the commander-in-chief of the transition team because you were worried about your chances rather than trying to be candid with the future president of the United States. Are there any other important facts that you chose not to reveal to the president-elect and his team as they were considering you to be Secretary of Defense?
Senator, I sit here before you in open book, as everyone who's watched this process.
With multiple non-disclosure and confidentiality agreements tying the hands of many people who would like to comment to us. Much has been made.
A good look there. And guys, we are hitting, we just passed the 2-hour mark. So if you would like to keep the party raging, you know how to do it.
Your workplace behavior as a leader of nonprofit veterans organizations and as a Fox News contributor. Were you fired from either of the leadership positions with the nonprofits?
I was the leader. I was the CEO of Concerned Veterans for America and the executive director of Vets for Freedom.
Were you fired from either
and I
of
was
them?
never fired from a veterans organization.
Do you have non-disclosure agreements with either of those organizations?
Not that I'm aware of, Senator.
Many of your work colleagues have said that you show up for work under the influence of alcohol or drunk. I know you've denied that, but you would agree with me, right, that if that was the case, that would be disqualifying for somebody to be Secretary of Defense.
Senator, those are all anonymous false claims, and the totality.
They're not anonymous.
The letters on the record here.
They're not anonymous.
On the record,
we've seen records with names attached
for Freedom, Concerned Vets for America, and Fox News.
One of your colleagues
working hard every day on behalf.
One of your colleagues said that you got drunk at an event.
Again, it's funny how the women are able to just, get him to stop talking while interrupting him and doing essentially what their job is. And the men are like, say it with your chest.
At a bar and chanted, "Kill all Muslims." Another colleague.
What was that?
One of your colleagues
working hard every day on behalf.
One of your colleagues said that you got drunk at an event at a bar and chanted, "Kill all Muslims." Another colleague, not anonymous, we have this, said that you took coworkers to a strip club. You were drunk. You tried to dance with strippers. You had to be held off the stage. And one of
strippers. Oh my God! Strippers. We're talking about war, right? We're talking about killing people, right? We're talking about dropping bombs on populations, right? And you're getting your panties in a bunch over some strippers. Okay.
Your employees in that event filed a sexual harassment charge as a result of it. Now, I know you deny these things, but isn't that the kind of behavior that, if true, would be disqualifying for somebody to be Secretary of Defense?
Senator, anonymous false charges.
They're not anonymous. And I'll just conclude and say this to the chairman. You claim that this was all anonymous. We have seen records with names attached to all of these, including the name of your own mother. So don't make this into some anonymous press thing. We have seen multiple names of colleagues consistently throughout your career that have talked about your abusive actions.
Chairman, I think he's over his time. He's way over his time.
I now yield.
So if you're confirmed as Secretary of Defense, you will oversee our.
Put a one in the chat if you already saw the Elizabeth Warren thing, because we don't have a lot of time, so we could skip over that one. And there's another one.
Military, including about 250,000 women who currently serve on active duty in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Space Forces, and the Marines. And I have serious concerns that your behavior toward women disqualifies you from serving in this role. Now, I've been trying to get answers from you for quite some time on this. You haven't wanted to meet or to answer any of my questions.
Jealous of Ernst. Okay, so while I'm waiting on that, we will. Oh my God! Do you believe gender quotas exist in the military? 91% of you said yes. 91. But that is absolutely not the case. That is not the case at all. Can't deal with strippers. TV Viersky said, when does a senator from the state of Canada get to ask questions? That's next year. That's next year when they are official. If we get one more, I know there's a little bit of delay. If we get one that you've already seen this part, we'll skip it. Otherwise, this is kind of,
We'll just have to do it here and dive in. I want to pick up on some of the questions asked by Senators Shaheen and Gillibrand and Hirono. And I just want to make sure we have a list of some of the facts that I think are undisputed. I'm not going to talk about anonymous sources. I'm just going to quote you directly. We've got the video. We've got it in print. So going back to January 2013, you told a Fox News interviewer that women in the military simply couldn't measure up to men in the military, saying that allowing women to serve in combat roles would force the military to lower the bar. You picked up on that same theme in 2015, making remarks on Fox News, referring to women in combat as, quote, it would erode standards. June 2024, you said on Ben Shapiro's podcast, quote, women shouldn't be in combat at all. And then, of course, we've talked about it in 2024. You published a book. And
it's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time.
You say on page 26 of your book, we need moms, but not in the military, especially in combat units. Page 48 of your book, you claim that women should not be in combat roles because men are distracted by women. And then 10 weeks ago, you appeared on the Sean Ryan show and said, I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles. Now, I presume you recall making all these statements?
Senator, I'm not familiar with the article you're pointing to in 2013, but it underscores my argument completely because in that 2013 argument, I was talking about standards.
No,
Standards are what it's always been about,
Let's not have this same fight
Always
again.
been about Senate
I've quoted you directly. We've got the video. We're happy to show it.
Dylan! Her Indian name is Takes Chances Away. Good one, sir.
But I want to be clear here. For 12 years, you were quite open about your views, and your views were consistently the same. Women are inferior soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen, and guardians. And in case anyone missed the point, and these are
That's not what he said.
your words from 10 weeks ago.
Notice how she has to say, these are your words, because the shit she just said before wasn't.
Women absolutely straight up should not be permitted to serve in combat. And I notice on each of these quotes, those are said without qualification. It's not by how much you can lift or how fast you can run.
Correct. It's a principled stance.
They don't belong in combat, period. Or your words, straight up. And then on November 9th, 2024, just 32 days after your last public comment saying that women absolutely should not be in combat, you declared that, quote, some of our greatest warriors are women, and you support having them serve in combat. Now,
so just like we were talking about before, those are there's no contradiction there because there are already women doing combat or already women in combat roles. So you can say the women that are in those roles are doing a good job. But we shouldn't lower the standards to bring more women in. And then outside of that, despite the fact that these women are doing a good job, as a Christian or whatever the fuck you want to say, as a principle, I don't believe they belong there. There is no contradiction. Don't set term limits now. Yes, please.
that is a very, very big about face in a very, very short period of time. So help me
And again, no, it's not.
understand, Mr. Hegseth.
So that's the first. Help me understand. Okay, we got one.
What extraordinary event happened in that 32-day period that made you change the core values you had expressed
That's twice she's asked.
for the preceding 12 years?
Senator, again, I very much appreciate you bringing up my comments from 2013 because for me, this issue has always been about standards. And unfortunately,
consistency.
Because of some of the people that have been in
Excuse
political
me, Mr.
power for the
Hegseth,
last 4
let's just
years.
stop. Let's just
So twice she said, I want to understand. And as he's explaining, she's cut him off twice.
Priorities
Let's
other
just
than
stop
standards,
right there.
lethality, and
Mr.
meritocracy.
Hegseth,
Let's just stop because I said I want to understand, and now you're helping me understand, and that's not what we're here for.
Have
I'm
driven
quoting
decision-making.
you. I'm quoting you from the podcast. Women shouldn't be in combat at all.
We heard you the first time.
Where is the reference to standards that they should be there if they can carry?
If you rewind 5 minutes, if we had more time, I would go through the actual podcast and find, you know what? Fuck it. This is how we will, well, we can close the show here. Pete Hegseth, Sean Ryan. Go here. and here, and we hit transcript. Then we Control F straight up. Oh, straight up. So let's go back a little bit.
Different than intentionally saying we're going to put women into combat roles. That's different.
Let's go back a little bit.
It's all to say, oh, we have this first, or we have this, that.
So now we're actually going to get the full context, because full context matters.
So that's proliferated everywhere. The reason women started getting in combat is because of forward support companies, and they were, we were integrating a lot of the rear echelon activities into BCTs, brigade combat teams, that were now deploying forward as an entity. And so you had women truck drivers or fuel or mechanics on these convoys in Iraq and Afghanistan, and then they'd be ambushed or hit by IEDs, and suddenly now you have women in combat. That's maybe a modern reality in a 360 battlefield. That's different than intentionally saying, we're going to put women into combat roles so they will do the combat jobs of men, knowing that we've changed the standards in putting them there.
So again, a reference to the standards and not some sexist agenda.
Which means you've changed the capability of that unit. And if you say you haven't, you're a liar. Because everybody knows between bone density and lung capacity and muscle strength, men and women are just different.
So Gillibrand is a liar. Surprise, color me surprised.
And so if you want to, I'm okay with the idea that you maintain the standards where they are for everybody. And if there's some, hard charging female that meets that standard, great, cool.
It took 30 seconds. It took 30 seconds. We have the video, sir.
Join the infantry battalion. But that is not what's happened.
Yeah.
What has happened is the standards have lowered because the general comes by and asks a question. You know what questions are when generals ask questions. They're just a command. Lieutenant or captain or major, why aren't there more women in your unit? That means get some more women in your unit now. And that moves all the way through the training pipeline. And
how did I go Bill O'Reilly?
So I'm surprised there hasn't been more blowback on that already in the book, because I'm straight up just saying we should not have women in combat roles. It hasn't made us more effective, hasn't made us more lethal, has made fighting more complicated. Most of them actually are, a lot of them are pushed, I shouldn't say most, but many are pushed into a combat track because they're so highly capable. But if they had their first choice, it probably wouldn't be that. An 11 series job, armor or infantry. So, the Marine Corps did the study and integrated units, meaning male, female, did drastically worse than all-male units. And Ray Mabus, who was the Secretary of the Navy in time in 2015, said, oh, fuck your study.
Well, there you go. Fuck it, we'll do it live. Is that a Bill? All right. Well, call me Bill O'Reilly. And that's actually, kind of my introduction to politics at all. Way before I was paying attention. My dad was a big O'Reilly fan, and he would come home from work and watch it from time to time. And a lot of times the only time I got to spend with him was when he was, decompressing and watching whatever he was watching from after work. And so I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on as much as I was just hanging out with my dad. But before audiobooks were like, it was usually book on tape. So when that was still the main version of audio tape, there was I don't even know what you call. I guess you would just call it like a little MP3 player. But it was just a little MP3 player of Bill O'Reilly's book, and I listened to that. Again, it was just too far away. I think I was too young. I must have been 12 or 13 at the time. And so, I essentially went in one ear and out the other. But full circle, full Bill O'Reilly. Not a huge fan in general, but definitely an important voice. Definitely. Let's give a big shout out to our boy Dixon Sider, and of course the sponsor of the stream, TV Viewerski, with the $10 PayPal. Thank you so very, very much, guys. I really do appreciate you hanging out with me. This has been a lot of fun, but it's time time for the after party. Guys, remember, the Discord is absolutely free to join. It's 100% free to join. You get the free chat 24/7. We are in there hanging out, having a good time, and you should definitely come and join us. However, if you are a member of this channel here on YouTube, which you can do by clicking the pinned link, it's just $2.99 a month. That gets you not only the at least 12 after parties, but it gets you full access to the Discord. We do movie nights, all that kind of stuff. It is a definitely good time. You said I meant it as a compliment. I took it as a compliment. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to go and see what you guys thought about all of this in the after party. So thank you, guys. I really do appreciate it. Again, this for a political channel, especially since I didn't start during the lockdown, which is the biggest thing that just makes me want to. But I didn't build enough of a foundation that now that people are like kind of over politics and nothing really has happened yet, we're like in the bottom barrel of what's going on. But you guys still came through, and I really do appreciate it. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe. Again, live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. And it's always having a good time just like this. Once again, guys. Oh, is he sleeping? He's not asleep. What are you doing? Your ear's inside out. This is my co-host, a.k.a. the Overlord, a.k.a. Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, a.k.a. the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here. Peace.